These people are coming from all over the world, from Asia, from Africa. We have people coming. Haiti is like emptying out. There is going to be no Haiti. Somebody's going to end up buying all of Haiti. You're not going to have any people there. They're going to say, what a nice piece of land this is. Everyone from Haiti is moving into the United States of America.
Hello guys, welcome to the 17th episode of the 1804. Today we'll be talking a little bit much about an article that came out regarding what transpired after the assassination of Jovenel Moïse. We'll also be looking at a few scandals and showing corruption and I'll basically show you how politicians in Haiti are enriching themselves rather than serve the public. They get into these positions to help themselves and their families. And then we'll also be looking at a few names that popped up in terms of being associated with Louis Abinadel, the president of Dominican Republic, where you'll see Bigio had appointed Gilbert Bigio, which is the richest person in the Caribbean, happens to be Haitian. He appointed a few of his employees to work with Louis Abinadel, but mainly to protect his own interests. So we'll start off with that. And also want to say thank you guys for tuning in. If you get the chance, please like and subscribe. This show is also available on any podcast DSPs, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all those, as well as YouTube. And I'll probably be on Rumble in a couple weeks as well. Okay. So this is a tweet from, I found HRC07, Hector Radames, but he had tweeted, I have it translated here, Haitian businessman Gilbert Bigio, sanctioned by Canada for financing Haitian gangs, apparently financed Louis Abinadel's campaign and has so much power over him that at least 2 Bigio employees have been appointed to protect his interest and investment in the DR. Pablo Daniel Portes Gores as financial advisor to Abinadel, as well as Walkiria Kamano as Chief of Staff of the Ministry of Energy and Mines, in addition to her duties as Vice Minister of Hydrocarbons. So I'll play the clip here of seems like if you're watching this, I don't know what, either politician, reporter, I don't know exactly what his position is. He explains this in Spanish. I won't play the whole clip. I don't understand or speak Spanish, but if you happen to be Spanish, I'll play the clip for you here. There you go.
Y a partir de hoy que el presidente sepa lo que me pueda pasar, porque él sabe de qué tipo de banda estoy hablando. Son las bandas criminales que en Haití no permiten que nada pase, y cada peso que produce él en República Dominicana lo compra de armas, según dice la Embajada de Canadá, y lo manda a la pandilla haitiana para mantener desestabilizado el pueblo haitiano, también para jodernos a nosotros dominicanos. Y es una vergüenza que en el Palacio Nacional hayan 2 empleados de alto rango, uno asesor financiero del Poder Ejecutivo.
Anyway, so you can watch the rest of the clip. His Twitter handle's there, HRCC07. But the main point too that other people were making is there was allegedly a list of sanctions that Louis Abinadel had put against Haitian politicians, which matched a lot of the list that politicians were sanctioned by Canada and the US. But one name similar to how the States has yet to hasn't really put it would have only made sense if the US had also sanctioned Gilbert Bigio. They haven't. But in the Dominican Republic, that was one of the names that wasn't included in Louis Abinadel's sanction list. And a lot of people wondered why is that? People did allude to, well, obviously Gilbert Bigio is one of the most powerful people in the Caribbean. But people are alluding to as to why, but this can clearly show they do have some type of relationship. Based on this gentleman, what he's saying here, he did finance his last campaign election as well. I'll go to another article because there's more to this, because their names are tied up. The employees they're tied up to other I'd say findings or not scandals, but findings from other reporters. But I'll get to it. I'll get to this. This is a report from DR1. So Abinadel did not sanction businessman Gilbert Bigio blocked by Canada. So I'll get into this here. The Abinadel administration left out Haitian businessman Gilbert Bigio from the list of persons he recently ordered the migration agency to impede entry to the Dominican Republic. According to the report of Diario Libre, the list otherwise includes all those accused by the United States and Canada of providing financial and logistic support to armed gangs in Haiti, as I previously stated. Diario Libre also reports that Portes Gores, so keep that name in mind, is known as a close, powerful collaborator of Bigio. So just to give you, he's one of the, so I want to focus on, I'll go back to the tweet because the names are there, but I want to focus on Pablo Daniel Portes Gores in a few minutes. But this is just a breakdown of the Bigio group, his conglomerate, his company. Right now, this is obviously Gilbert Bigio. That's his son, the chairman. And then you'll see Pablo Portes, although this might have to be updated here because it shows him as CEO and director. However, in the article, which I'll continue to read, has him as a different position. But regardless, he is employed as in a senior position or leadership position for the Gilbert Bigio group. And then you also got Laurence Bigio, another daughter, the daughter of Gilbert Bigio. As for Yael, I don't know her, but I know Laurence is one of the daughters as well. So keep Pablo Portes in mind, but Laurence too, but mainly Pablo Portes. So I'll just get back now to the article and we'll continue. Portes Gores has been advisor to the executive branch on financial matters since the start of Abinadel's administration of August 16th, 2020. Diario Libre reports that Portes is identified in the stock market as a legal representative of Gilbert Bigio Group. Reuven Shalom Bigio, son of Gilbert Bigio, has been the company's president treasurer since December 13th, 2022. His daughter, Laurence Sarah Bigio, serves as secretary, and Maria Del Mar Rodriguez Fernandez is the vice president. So more background on this guy. Portes Gores has held stakes in other major companies in country, including including the Dominican Petroleum Refinery and the Scotiabank and Progresso banks, which, if you don't know, Scotiabank is a Canadian bank. Diario Libre reports that Portes Gores' LinkedIn profile state that he's been advisory board member of AB InBev Cerveceria, excuse me if I'm butchering this, Nacional Dominicana, and board member of Scotiabank Dominican Republic and Banco Dominicano del Progreso. Okay, so he's held many high positions, specifically as a board member. He's also tied to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pandora Papers or the Paradise Papers, but especially, actually it says right here, but the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. And essentially what the the Paradise Papers, what it revealed, I'll read it here. It's based off their website. They do very amazing work. A lot of the investigations revolves the elites or very wealthy people using their positions, using tax havens by creating shell companies offshore, et cetera, et cetera. You can go look into it, but big names, politicians have been named in there, including even Justin Trudeau in these Pandora papers, not the Paradise Papers, but in one of the papers that are written by the ICIG. But there's a bunch of politicians, former presidents, leaders that are involved in these reports. But the Paradise Paper, basically a major global collaboration reveals secret from one of the world's most prestigious offshore law firms, a specialized trust company, and 19 company registries in secrecy jurisdictions. So the key findings of this report reveals offshore interests and activities of more than 120 politicians and world leaders, including Queen Elizabeth II, and 13 advisors, major donors, and members of U.S. President Donald Trump's administration. Those are the big names that are in this specific paper. Okay, exposes the tax engineering of more than 100 multinational corporations, including Apple, Nike, and Botox maker Allergan. Reveal tax haven shopping sprees by multinational companies in Africa and Asia that use shell companies in Mauritius and Singapore to reduce taxes. So basically, you can read the full report. There's a bunch of names in them too. But what I wanted to get to, all right, so if you look at here, they have usually, so on the website, they document within the Paradise paper specifically, they usually document what company that's involved in the names. And you see Gulfstream Petroleum SRL, incorporated in 2004. And in the list of leadership positions, so mostly managers, if whether or not they're, I'm sure this might have changed between now and 2014, but you'll see that Goras Pablo Daniel Portes in this company was also involved in this. Whether he was directly involved, we don't know, but he was in a leadership position in this specific company that was in the scheme of using tax havens and maybe not underreporting their income. And the funny thing too, you also see Gilbert Bigio's name popped up, which he in a management position, and as well as his daughter Sarah Lawrence Bigio in a management position too. And the reason I'm saying that's not the first time their name has popped up in the Pandora, in the Paradise papers or any type of paper, because Louis Abinader and Bigio also were mentioned in the Pandora papers back in 2021. So what are the Pandora papers? Essentially, it was similar to reporting like this, which exposed a lot of names and companies involved in this scheme. But just so they do have a tendency of being named in these type of things, which I'm not surprised. This is a guy, like I said, billionaire, wealthy, has enough power to finance gangs in Haiti and not get touched. That's the type of status a lot of these people have. And then you'll see this is from the Miami Herald, but it was basically talking about Bigio's involvement in the Pandora Papers. So I'll read this here. Dubbed the Pandora Papers, the leak involved more than 11.9 million documents from 14 global offshore service providers, companies, or law firms that create offshore entities, often with obscure and complex ownership structures. Collectively, the Pandora Papers show how the wealthy elite, including Bigio, across the globe shield even hide their fortunes. So Bigio retired as a CEO of GB Group in 2018 and is frequently referred to as a billionaire, yet hails from the hemisphere's poorest country. It's a nation torn apart by earthquakes, corruption, gang violence, and this summer's horrifying assassination of president. Keep in mind, this was written in 2021. The Pandora Papers shows Bigio, sometimes Miami resident, used offshore multiple tax havens and moved wealth to Miami and Switzerland. And then, who's also involved in the Pandora Papers? Well, Louis Abinader too, based on the ICIG's investigation or reporting back in 2021. So Louis Abinader is the wealthiest public official in the Dominican Republic. His net worth is approximately 70 million, according to a public declaration of assets he filed 1 month after he was elected president in 2020. I highly doubt this is accurate. I think it's probably more, considering that people of his status take advantage of the tax system and their status and wealth. So leaked documents show that Abinader is linked to two Panamanian companies, Little Cot Inc., who he owns with his sister and brother, and Padreso S.A., of which the three siblings are shareholders. Both companies were created before Abinader became president. Little Cot was incorporated in 2011, and Padreso was set up in 2014. Records show that they were created to hold assets in the Dominican Republic, but the document don't include details about those holdings. Abinader told ICIG that Little Cot Inc. holds a family property in Dominican Republic, but Padreso S.A. holds shares of 6 other entities that own properties and extensions of the private university owned by his family. So, anyway, just to show you these names. So, going back to the tweet, like you said, he appointed 2 of his former employees, or at least people he knows, to work with Louis Abinader. That's how it is, really, how these people function on time. It's more of a buddy system. They'll protect each other. They'll most time protect each other's, and they don't care about whether or not what they're doing may affect most of the people. Now, the business dealings I don't want to make some mention that the business dealings, whatever Bigio's relationship with Abinader is hurting them. But the fact that, again, he was one of those people that was not on that Dominican Republic sanction list clearly shows they have a relationship there as well. And with the names popping up and the multiple names popping up in the Pandora Papers as well as the Paradise Papers. So I just wanted to show you guys that although they never get caught, they somehow never get arrested for a lot of things happening. These guys, they know how to play the game and not face any consequences in that sense. Next story I want to show you. It's an exclusive by the CPR, so Center for Economic and Policy Research, written by David Adams and Jake Johnston. Essentially detailing everything what transpired after the assassination, and there was basically based off a WhatsApp transcript which showed essentially once that Julian Moise was found presumed dead, they're trying to find a way to get protection. The mercenaries are trying to find a way to get out of the country, but mainly find a way to hide before they can eventually escape and find protection. But I'll go through it too because a lot of interesting revelations in here. So Antonio Entrago, one of the owners of the security firm Counterterrorism Unit Federal Academy, finally responded to about 30 minutes later, "I'm trying to call Gabriel." He wrote as reference to Arkanja Patel, his partner in CTU, which CTU is the Counterterrorist Unit Federal Academy, this private security firm in Miami. And a man who had personally recruited Capador and some 20 other former Colombian soldiers to the plot, Pretel, the FBI has admitted was an active informant with the agency at the time. So I'll go into here. This is basically detailing, again, what transpired after, but you'll see a few quotes. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, Entrago and Patel managed and directed the other members of the conspiracy, including the Colombians. Yet, the chat revealed that for hours after the raid of the president's home, the leaders of the Colombian soldiers were unable to reach the two men in Florida that the Department of Justice alleged are the center of the plot. Though only offering a partial accounting, the newly obtained WhatsApp chat provides a dramatic narrative of the events that unfolded in the hours and days after the assassination, as well as a new insight into the intentions of the alleged conspirators. They also raise significant questions about the narrative presented by U.S. prosecutors and the role played by various foreign embassies. According to U.S. prosecutors, however, by early July, plans had shifted. Sanon was no longer seen as a viable presidential candidate. Instead, CTU and their Colombian security team had found a new leader to back, Wendell Koch, a former Supreme Court judge who had been fired by Moise months later. So this is just detailing the succession plan was for Sanon to become the next president, which would have been installed by whoever funded the assassination. But there was a change to that to a former Supreme Judge Court, Wendell Koch, and she had even written a letter because they're essentially saying that a lot of the mercenaries were under the impression that they had the support of the U.S. and Haitian government in the sense that what they were doing was for regime change under the guise that, again, Moise was past his term. Therefore, he was overstaying in term. So in a sense, for them, and the reasoning for that was a good, for the mercenaries, they believed it because that was the reasoning given to them based on the findings of the CEPR. In mid-June, many of the alleged conspirators claimed to have met with Koch at the judge's home, just a few hundred meters from the president's house. Darius Koch, another judicial official, allegedly signed a document authorizing the arrest of President Moise and promising immunity to those involved. James Solage, a Haitian American who was working with CTU, personally traveled to Florida and delivered a document to CTU. Okay? That letter, the authenticity of which disputed by Koch and the other official, is a critical piece of evidence in the case that provides much of the basis for U.S. legal jurisdiction. Well, basically, one of the former mercenaries had given that and sent it by hand to CTU. So now we're at the point where they're about to seek protection from the police and embassy. So I'll go through it here. While nobody seemed to know what the judge was doing or why she had yet to make any pronouncement, the focus of the chats shifted towards getting the police to back off. So This is when, to the point after they had assassinated Jovenel Moise, then they're off running, trying to find somewhere to lay low. The chats contain reports of snipers on nearby rooftops and drones flying overhead. Just before 10 a.m., one of the Colombians relayed a message from JAR that the police were about to attack. Soon thereafter, JAR shared contact information from Leon Charles, Haiti's police chief. Chief of Police, you need to contact me ASAP, Intriago wrote to Charles. And again, just to give more context, Intriago is the owner of the security firm that hired the mercenaries. So just to be clear, Intriago is the owner of that firm. We are contacted to offer welcome to work with us. Oh, sorry. Intriago wrote, sorry, I'll read that again. Chief of Police, you need to contact me ASAP, Intriago wrote to Charles, according to the message forwarded to one of the chats. There are some Americans that need to be protected. They were with a judge order and you must stop any confrontation. So again, they think that because they have this judge order that gives them immunity, that they shouldn't have any protection. They should gain protection. Before I continue, one thing I want to make clear here, there's a paragraph here. Intriago and Ventimiglia had maintained their innocence from the beginning of the investigation, claiming they were deceived by unknown persons in Haiti who framed the Colombians. Pretel has made no public statement. Many of the Colombians also claimed they were duped, alleging that the president was already dead when they entered the house. So this is a new revelation according to the CEPR, which is something we haven't heard. A lot of them, apparently they're saying that some of the mercenaries are saying that he was already dead by the time they got there. While in jail, several other former soldiers who entered Moise's residence admitted to carrying out the assassination in interviews with investigators. So there's two different stories here. Two sets of different stories, but they say that they deny it because the confessions were obtained under torture. We don't know if that's true or not, but this is what the CEPR is saying here. By early afternoon, the police attack had yet to materialize, but neither had any support from the trapped Colombians. At 1:25 p.m., Intriago shared an update from one of the principal suspects in the assassination plot, a former Haitian Justice Ministry official, Joseph Bigio, who we still don't know where this guy is. We still don't know. Some have even accused Ariel of knowing where he is or even hiding Barrio, which I would not even be surprised because these dudes literally had a phone call before the assassination twice. So I'd be surprised if Ariel doesn't know where this dude is or where he last was, or he was last, I should say. Anyways, Badu is doing what he can and maintaining very positive communication with me, and I am sure you'll be out there soon. I confirmed that there is an order for the police not to proceed and that there are clarifying things, wrote Intriago. This is the head of the security firm. The message reveals for the first time Badio's direct involvement within the CTU conspiracy. So they had direct contact here. So Badio and the head of the CTU seem to have known each other well, by that point at least. At 5:10, Intriago informed the group. So this is after, this is after now the police are on their ass and they're still trying to find a way so they can get the police to back off. So you see at 4:30 p.m., Intriago shared a publicly listed number of the embassies of Taiwan and Venezuela. 20 minutes later, Pretel sent the emergency contact number for the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince. He asked one of the groups who is a U.S. citizen to call the embassy and explain to them that you guys work for CTU, you were on a mission to assist the judge, and what happened. They want to hear from you directly. So the head of CTU was basically telling the mercenaries to just call the U.S. Embassy, mainly Salage, to call the U.S. Embassy and explain the situation. 4 minutes later, Mike relayed that Salage was on the phone with the U.S. Embassy. So at 5:10, Intriago informed the group that I have just been told that they are calling from the U.S. to stop the attack. So this is a new revelation too. Apparently at 5:10, he got a call that the U.S. is calling to stop the attack on these mercenaries on a completely different land, just to show you that the power the U.S. If this is true, then that just shows you the amount of power the U.S. has over Haiti as well as the international community on Haiti. He asked for a list of names and photos of the group to send to foreign embassies, Canada, Venezuela, Taiwan, to seek asylum. So I'm just curious, why would these countries give them, like, why would they think that they would be able to get asylum other than obviously for what they had, for based on that judge order that they had. But now you have two different stories, which is not clear here because there's two different stories mentioning that some of them, for example, arrived there and they thought they were dead. They arrived there and already saw him dead. And there's other stories which clearly show that, even I didn't see the pictures, but Jovenel did get like shot multiple times. But what's not clear here is the fact that were they acting under the guise that with that same paper that essentially provided them immunity, or in that point were they committed the crime? Because then again, we don't know which story is true, whether or not Jovenel Moise was actually dead by the time or not. But if he was not, were they trying to escape after they killed him, which is what I assumed? Or did they actually believe that they were actually were they actually duped and believed what they were doing was good, and to the point where they had to kill him? Because there's other reports showing, it's not showing, but actually based on the investigations, that last minute when they got there, some of the mercenaries got orders that they're going there to take Jovenel Moise, to kidnap him, and then last minute from the kidnapping it turned to an assassination. So there's also that story there that the CPR is not highlighting, but it on Miami Herald articles, and I believe another one, that they do highlight this to make the point. The U.S. government had previously made public that two Haitian Americans involved in the plot, James Solage and former DA informant Joseph Vincent, which is still sketch to me in a sense. Like I always said before, I mentioned multiple times, I do believe that whether or not they're directly involved, I don't think the U.S. didn't know what was going on, with considering the fact they have the CIA heavily involved, have their hands in almost everywhere in the world of national interest, obviously. So it's hard for me to believe that. Joseph Vincent were in contact with U.S. officials and were in course surrendered to Haitian police, which they subsequently did around 6:30 p.m. I'll read more of my favorite excerpts from the article. Another part where Intrigue Algo responded to the mercenaries, and he was saying that, and this is the head of the CTU, but he was saying that he had just spoken to the Kenyan ambassador and that he was trying to reach the ambassador of Taiwan. Okay, so the Canadian ambassador to Haiti is Sébastien Carrière. Why would then again, if that's the case, like, did he call him to seek asylum based on that order? I wonder how that conversation went, because if was Sébastien Carrière caught off guard when he got that call, and what would he have recommended them to do? Like, was it saying, "Oh, we can't help you," or because they did have a conversation, so he must have known that something was gonna happen. The fact that he felt so comfortable calling him too, but who knows? So I encourage you to read it. But the main points for me to pull out here is if this is true, I'm just curious as to why the head of the CTU, the firm, felt comfortable enough to be calling the Canadian ambassador, the American embassy, and even the American embassy allegedly saying that, calling to stop the attacks on those mercenaries, knowing they're involved in an assassination plot. Why would they encourage them to stop the attack? Right? And you could say maybe at that point in time, they might have not known. They maybe thought that this was legit. But with the U.S., the intelligence the U.S. has, and considering the fact that James Solage, Joseph Vincent, former FBI and DEA informants, and one of them even, this was from a Miami Herald, I covered it in episode 16. But if it was not, I want to make this, if it was not Solage and it was Vincent, but one of them after the assassination had called their former handler. It was whoever was the former DEA informant. Let me double check here. The article will show you, because I want to get this clear here. I won't have it here. Oh, it was Joseph Vincent. So Joseph Vincent, after the killing, had called his former handler, and then his handler allegedly told him it's better if you turn yourself in. Out of all people in the world, why are you calling your former handler after you DEA handler after you assassinated a president? That is the most sketchiest shit ever. Which, anyways, no crime. There's never a crime that is perfect. Very highly sophisticated, but there's never a perfect crime. Like, people will always leave traces, and I do believe this. There's more as the years go by. Obviously, the investigations go by. There's gonna be more and more coming out of this. But there's too many holes in these stories with the investigations to not see a clear connection between the U.S. government or U.S. officials or government bodies, CIA, DEA, FBI, whatever, and the assassination or Haiti itself. But in this talk, if referring to this, we're mainly talking about the assassination. So we'll see how this goes, but this is more revelations. Hopefully there's more that comes out. Then again, names that I'd be curious to see, which I don't think we're ever going to see big names maybe involved, but some people in the business sector, I'd like to maybe see their names pop up because we still don't know who financed all of this. But I've got an idea. I don't want to allude to any names, but I've always had my few ideas of who may have been involved, but it's obviously not just one person, but multiple. So next up, I want to show you here. So article in French. L'ambassadeur d'Haïti, Edmond Bouchy, impliqué dans la vente de passeports à $10,000 US à des fugitifs étrangers. So basically, this guy was selling passports to the highest bidder. Oh, sorry, not highest bidder, but at least around $10,000. Some articles are saying the highest bidder, but we'll get into here and I'll translate for you in English. Selon des informations recueillies auprès d'une source de confiance de la rédaction de Trending 24, l'ambassadeur d'Haïti à Washington, Edmond Bouchy, a impliqué dans une affaire de vente de passeports et de fugitifs étrangers. D'après notre source, un passeport haïtien est livré à n'importe quel fugitif étranger qui fuit la justice de son pays. So this article is saying basically that he was handing out passports to anyone that was trying to flee justice from any country. So he would basically, whether they're Arab, Colombian, Russian, he would give them a passport. They'd pay it because obviously they're desperate. They'd pay the $10,000. They get a Haitian passport and then fly to Haiti and they're accepted there. D'après notre source, un passeport haïtien est livré à n'importe quel fugitif étranger qui fait la justice de son pays, qu'il soit arabe, colombien, russe ou une autre nation néanmoins qui est prêt à payer les $10,000 américains qui réclament l'ambassadeur Bouchy Edmond. Il recevra un passeport haïtien lui permettra de se réfugier en Haïti. Yeah, another example. Then again, this is just another example. Again, these people, they get these political positions. They help out themselves, their family, move out the country, and then forget what they need to do, and then forget about themselves, forget where they're from. Because it can't be me talking about. I'm not even born like in Haiti, and then I can't imagine people born there and then taking advantage of their country or their position while their country, like here, like there's poverty everywhere. There's poverty in Canada, but it's not like people are dying of starvation. Like there's an abundance of food for everyone just in general in the world. But it's not like people are dying of starvation or like are affected by, obviously people are affected by inflation here, but it's not, I couldn't say it's a dire situation as opposed to the situation in Haiti. Like Haiti right now, it looks like it's gonna be a brain dead society because the people that are there are going to school outside the country, obviously for like rightfully so, for better opportunity. Canada's not in that position here. We've got really good schools here, and if they don't come to Canada, they go to school in the States too. So it's not the same situation. So I'll continue here. Haiti's top diplomat in the U.S. is fired after passport scandal in the Washington embassy. This is from the Miami Herald. Haiti has fired its ambassador to the United States, Bouchy Edmond, following investigations by the U.S. and Haitian governments into a kickback corruption scheme inside its Washington embassy involving the illegal issuance of passports, a Haitian government official confirmed to the Miami Herald. This is interesting here. I'll read this. He pointed fingers instead at his former boss, Claude Joseph, who served as a both interim prime minister and foreign minister of Haiti under the late president Jovenel Moïse. Joseph told the Herald that when he learned about the corruption allegations, he did what he had to do and ordered an inquiry by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So Claude Joseph, who served as interim prime minister, he pointed fingers at him too. So the corruption first came to light when Joseph was in charge of the Foreign Ministry. In June 2021, a U.S. customs official seized several packages with a total of 400 passport applications from Haitian nationals living in Chile and cash totaling of $50,000 U.S. The FedEx packages were addressed to the personal residence of Guillaume Just, who was Joseph's cousin and who was serving at the time as a head of consular section of Haitian embassy in Washington. A U.S. Customs and Border Protection document shared with the Herald showed, for example, that after agents seized one of the packages, they sent Just a letter dated August 18, 2021, informing him that they had intercepted the documents at a cashier's check for $10,200 addressed to his home in Maryland. A Haitian government investigation report determined the Haitian ambassador to the United States, Boucher Edmond, the ambassador's sister, Bettina Edmond, an accredited consular official of the Haitian Consulate General in New York, as well as other Haitian diplomatic mission members, issued passports without lawful authority from the Haitian government. These guys are literally just birthing Haitians with documents. Like, that's how easy it is. Just birthing Haitians just with fake passports, and boom, these people are Haitians, just like they can enter the country as if they were citizens or stay there for a long time. And even if they had to get kicked out, who's gonna find them? Like, Haiti has a weak government, so if you're using this as refuge for people and then you're using your position and making money off of it by selling these passports, that is very crazy to me. That is very crazy to me. But then again, this is nothing new. If this is just my personal belief, I believe, like most people in the Haitian government specifically, well, before I say that, I believe most governments are corrupt, whether it's big or small. It could be doing something big or small, but most of the politicians in Haiti are corrupt. I don't think that's gonna change unless there's drastic change, like how Trump used to say, drain the swamp. Well, like the swamp in Haiti needs to be drained, like a lot, like cleaned out completely, because these guys, they join these positions, the first thing they think about seems to be money and how am I going to enrich myself, my status, and they forget about where they came from and the people they're helping. The people they got elected or appointed to help. Like, there's no respect for their job and no respect for the state of Haiti, basically. So, anyways, we'll continue here at 1804, hold them accountable, expose them, make sure that their names are out there, people know what they're doing, because it's getting ridiculous at this point, right? You got a country that was independent for X amount of years, yet it's still in the same position as it was since its inception, you could say. Or even you'll look at a lot of not trying to compare, but a lot of countries in Africa, they got their, well, that's another different story, but a lot of them got their independence in the 60s, 70s, 80s, yet a lot of them are either in the same economic or social situation as Haiti, or they're actually better off, and yet these countries are less than 100 years old. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe when you get a chance. Take care. See ya.